I have to give a shout out to my Kim for sending me this story. This is an update on Deshawn Douglas, and I already know how I'm going to title this video because a lot of people often think that black people can't get on code for a lot of things, and there may be some things that we need some work on. Was a lot of things we need work on, but we're getting there slowly but surely. But this is definitely a moment right here where black people can pat themselves on the back because it's because of us and us talking about this story that Deshawn Douglas is now officially has been uh, released from jail. Now, I don't know if the charges are still attached to him, but he is currently no longer behind bars at the moment as it stands. And the reason is because many people like ourselves were outraged and saying that he shouldn't be in prison for what, was going on. To be honest, he shouldn't even have those charges attached to him because he was the innocent party. Now, I didn't know at first when I was reading the article from the previous video, and maybe I did, but maybe I overlooked it. But the person that he did shoot ended up dying. And it doesn't surprise me considering they said that he shot him 4 to 6 times. So in that moment of struggle, no one's going to look to see if he shoots him in a place to injure. At that point, he's shooting to kill and, shooting to defend. But yes, he has officially been released from jail. And I'm going to read this article that came out from WLBT on January 4th, 2021. Hours before a scheduled bond hearing, Rankin County deputies released the teenager charged with first-degree murder for killing his neighbor last week, a move that comes amid growing criticism from many questioning the charge in the first place. Deshawn Xavier Douglas, age 18, had been denied bond on the murder charge days earlier. His attorney, Scott Gilbert, told Three on Your Side the charge had not been dropped at this point, so the charges are still attached to him. He's just not in jail at the moment. We will continue to investigate the case, and we look forward to bringing the case to a favorable resolution in the future, Gilbert said in an email statement. Meanwhile, the first supporters arrived Monday to protest Douglas' arrest, charges, and incarceration. I drove all the way from Texas to be here to stand in solidarity on behalf of his family and on behalf of him. I'm here because I want justice and freedom for Deshawn Douglas, said Selena Charles. He was gruesomely attacked. The guy deserved what he got. Charles questions the charge because she says evidence support Douglas acted in self-defense. Charles and another supporter held signs Monday in front of the Rankin County Justice Center, part of a growing number of people, particularly on social media, who believe Douglas' first-degree murder charge was excessive. Mississippi law states a killing can only be considered first-degree murder in 3 situations: when it's done by deliberate design or premeditation, which is pretty much the standard, when it's done while in commission of certain felonies, and when it's done by deliberate design to kill an unborn child. None of which, based on the definitions given by the state of Mississippi, fits Deshawn Douglas because he killed in self-defense. But they're not trying to say that that's what happened, even though when you look at the video, that's what it was, because that palm-colored man came onto his property and made threats against him. And Deshawn Douglas defended himself on his property. The minute that this man stepped foot on his property, it was free game. Like, for instance, for me, when I got my HQL a few years ago, which is the handgun qualifying license, one of the laws in the state of Maryland is if someone comes into your home as an invader, the minute that they step foot across the threshold of your door, that is considered trespassing. And you have every right to let off as many rounds as you want if they are an uninvited guest into your home. And you can claim self-defense. This guy came onto his property, got in his face, started talking a whole bunch of BS, and then got physical with him. Hit him a couple of times, pulled on his locks like a little bitch, and put him in a headlock or whatever. But when Deshawn Douglas got free, he pulled out that gun and pop, 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 pop. But see, like, that goes back to what I said before. They don't like when black people defend themselves. They want us to just roll over and play dead or just be dead. And then the perp will be able to say they were defending themselves. I bet you if this palm colored man was to kill Deshawn Douglas on his property, they would have said that he was defending himself. Mind you, he trespassed on his property. That's the thing. This white guy trespassed onto his property, which is a crime. Last I checked. Like I said, they're just mad because the palm colored man is going into the ground and Deshawn Douglas is not. Like I said, stand your ground does not work for black people. I can't think of a black person that it actually worked for. And I've done plenty of stories about stand your ground and black people, and every time it always ends up in a situation like this. There is no evidence released to the public so far to indicate Douglas had planned to kill Millen. I'm guessing that's his name. He didn't plan to kill him. The guy came over to his home. He didn't go to his house. Not the other way around. But Gilbert said there was evidence that Millen had tried to get violent with Douglas before. In October of last year, Gilbert said Douglas filed charges against Millen for assault after claiming Millen threatened to attack him with a shovel. At that time, Millen was ordered to not have any contact with Douglas. More than 2 months later, a neighbor's cell phone video showed Millen actively trying to antagonize Douglas, even at one point saying, "I am on your property," to the teenager. So see, he has a history with this guy before of him going over there to antagonize and to cause discord with him, or discourse. I'm probably misusing that word. But he has a history of doing this, and a very short one because it was recent and it happened a few months ago. Not even a whole year. And they said threatened to attack him with a shovel. Threatened and with a weapon and to come onto his property on more than one occasion. But this time when he came back, Deshawn Douglas was prepared, and I wonder if that's why Deshawn Douglas knew to have a gun on him this time. He probably saw that guy coming and said, "Oh nah, let me get the strap just in case this guy wants to get physical," and that's exactly what happened. So yeah, this PC man got exactly what he deserved, and they are mad because of that. Eventually, that confrontation turned violent, Gilbert said, with Millen grabbing Douglas from behind and attempting to strangle him. It's after that attempt that Douglas broke free and shot him 4 times. "We feel like he stood his ground," the Castle Doctrine said Justice Thomas, another supporter who stood outside the Justice Center hoping to bring awareness to Douglas's case. "We want justice, that's why we're here." "Three on your side," asked Rankin County Sheriff Brian Bailey and the Rankin County District Attorney Bubba Bramlett. Bubba. But then again, this is Mississippi, so that doesn't surprise me. For an interview to discuss the case, both declined. We then emailed them with specific questions, including one asking what led the department to charge Douglas with first-degree murder if the evidence we have seen at this point didn't support it. Bailey and Bramlett read our questions but did not respond. The reason why they can't respond is because even they know that it's BS. They had no right or no grounds to charge this 18-year-old with first-degree murder because that's not what it was. You heard them break down in definition what first-degree murder meant, and he does not fit the profile of any of those definitions. He was defending himself. If anything, if that white guy was successful in doing physical or real physical harm to the point where he could have killed Deshawn Douglas, he would have been or should have been gone in charge with first-degree murder or first-degree assault, because he took it upon himself to come from his property onto Deshawn Douglas's property, not once but twice, as far as we know, to threaten his life. And one time with a weapon, a gardening tool, that at which point was now considered to be a weapon. But they definitely overcharged him. Like, this should be an easy shut case before it even gets to a trial, because that's clearly an overcharge. But we know how it is in the establishment when it comes to black people, especially black men. And then you're going to have them palm colored folks talking about, well, if you don't do the crime, you won't do the time. It's a lot of black men behind bars right now with overcharges like how his is right now. But I think Deshawn Douglas has a fighting chance to actually beat his charges. If people can rally together to come down there and protest and he gets out of jail, if you keep going even harder and hitting them where it hurts, they can force their hand even harder to hopefully drop the charges before there's even a chance for this to go to trial. Notice how, like I said, the pigs won't give a response to their comments because they don't have one. They know they messed up, and I think they realize that now more than ever because of the media coverage that this story has gotten. It has grown legs, and they see that a lot of people are supporting him rather than against him. I think I even saw something about this white guy's wife coming out. You can tell she was she knew that her husband was wrong, but she got on cold anyway and said, well, it shouldn't have ended so violently. So it's like she got off cold but quickly snapped back onto it immediately. She's like, well, my husband was definitely wrong for going on his property, but it shouldn't have ended so violently. Excuse me? Where was your concern when your husband came on to Deshawn Douglas' property the first time or was threatening to go over there and hit him with a shovel? And you want to talk about violence? But like I said, she's on cold for her husband, so I get it. But she can shut her damn mouth too. Like, who asked her for her input? Now she's a widow. Oh well. Her husband shouldn't have felt so emboldened. And this is going to continue. And I have a feeling this is going to happen more often. But see, this is also a reason why a lot of black people are scared to go head up with a lot of people like this white guy, because they're afraid that they might get overcharged and thrown in jail like Deshawn Douglas. And that happens so often. If black people knew that they could not so much get away with it in a sense of how white people do, but if they can get away with the self-defense, oh, trust and believe, black people would really become Palm Color's worst nightmare. They will think twice before running up. But because Palm Color knows they can get away with it and black people can't, they're going to continue to do so because the system that's in place allows them to get away with that crap each and every day. It emboldens them. This is what this is what I mean when we say systemic racism. It's a system that emboldens and I can't think of the word. I'm just saying embolden a certain group of people to do what they do. And they know that, and they feast off of that. That's why a lot of them go on the whole MAGA rant all the damn time. This is a part of that. And when they say that, oh, we feel like white people are losing power or losing agency, it's because of stuff like this. Because at one point, Deshawn Douglas probably would have been lynched by now for doing something like this. Some of them wish they can go back to that, but they're upset that they can't. But I'm going to go ahead to end the video on this note. Shout out to the people that actually went down there and supported him. He's out of jail. He's not out of the woods yet because the charges are still attached to him, and they need to drop the charges altogether. And don't try to slip in some backdoor charges either, because they definitely overcharged him. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure you have your notifications turned on to all, and I will talk to you in the next one.